Back in May 2024, we did our transatlantic on Caribbean Princess. She is a bit of a classic in the Princess fleet, taking her inaugural cruise in April 2004. She stood the test of time, and thanks to a major refurbishment in 2019 and dry dock repairs and refresh in November of 2024, she is still sailing proud amongst the newer ships. Overall, the decor of the Caribbean Princess is genuinely beautiful. There's a lot of elegant detailing, and it really gives the ship a warm, classic feel. That said, there is a lot of wood throughout, which can make some areas feel a bit dark and dated compared to more modern, brighter ships. But honestly, that's part of her charm for many people. It's a traditional look that some people absolutely love. And let's be real, it's not something you can just swap out due to the cost and practicality of it. She has 19 decks and space for 3,140 guests and approximately 1,200 crew. And in this video, we will be showing some highlights of each deck, giving you the best parts of the ship. We'll chat about what each area has to offer, and I'll give you some honest opinions along the way, the little things you might love, and a few things to keep in mind. Let's start at the bottom on deck 5, and this is where you'll find the Piazza. This really is the social heart of the Caribbean Princess. It has this gorgeous Italian-inspired vibe with marble floors, sweeping staircases, and entertainment such as live music performances, quizzes, and even crew versus guest games. It's a space that you can generally find something going on. The only thing is, because it's such a popular space, it can get quite crowded at times. If you want a quiet moment with your coffee, you might have to do a few laps to find a seat or keep a beady eye on someone that looks like they might be getting up and jump in there. Speaking of coffee, the International Café is right here and open 24 hours a day. It's a lifesaver for early risers and night owls. They serve pastries, light snacks and some excellent specialty coffee. The only catch? The specialty coffee and the really large cake slices aren't free unless you're on Princess Plus or Premier, and mornings can get super busy at peak times, and it can be really awkward to find somewhere to wait for your coffee and not be in people's way. Right nearby is Good Spirits at Sea, a really fun concept bar where the bartenders walk you through the origins behind the cocktails they're making. It's part entertainment, part mixology. They have a very extensive menu of cocktails, so there is something for everyone and every taste. My favourite is the Cartagena Cool. It tastes a bit like an alcoholic chocolate orange. Basically, if you want a fantastic cocktail, come here. You've also got Vines Bar here for the wine lovers. It has an extensive range of wines ranging in prices that you don't get anywhere else on the ship, but don't forget, if you're on Plus, that's anything over $15 is not free. You need to pay the price difference. For Princess Premier, it's up to $20. It's a nice place to sit with a good view, but most of the seats here are the tall bar stool type, so they aren't the most comfortable. The art gallery is found in the middle of deck 5 between the staterooms and the International Café. It's run by Park West, like you find across many a cruise line. We like coming here to look at the different art subjects, styles and artists. If you do fancy buying something either from the displays or from one of the many art auctions on board, just keep in mind that in most cases the art will need to be shipped to you, and if you aren't based in the US, the fees can be sometimes very expensive. Other things to note on deck 5 is the shop that sells some snacks, a few emergency toiletries and duty free. Like all the other shops on board, this is only open when you're at sea due to trading laws. On to deck 6, where you will find dining, entertainment and guest services. At the front is the Princess Theatre lower entrance, your main venue for nightly shows and featured talks. This is the entrance you will need to use if you have mobility issues or need wheelchair access. The productions here are actually quite impressive considering the limited space they have to work with on a cruise ship. Be sure to arrive early, it fills up fast and seating is on a first come, first served basis. For some production shows, if you are on the Princess Premier package, you do get priority reserved seating, so you can come a bit later. But with more people now taking Premier with the recent changes, I would still get there at least 15 minutes to go, and don't forget the priority seating does get removed 5 minutes before the show to allow others to start using them. Churchills Lounge is nearby. This is a cigar and spirits bar. The room is pretty awesome, featuring a well-stocked bar and eclectic decor including a pool table on the ceiling. This is a smoking area, so it does smell like smoke, so if that bothers you, probably one to avoid. Caribbean Princess has been into dry dock since we filmed this, and I did see comments saying that this might not be a cigar bar anymore, as some of the Churchills lounges have been turned into arcades on other ships. However, it still states it is on the website. If you have been on Caribbean Princess since November 2024 and know this is now changed, let me know in the comments. Now for something a bit more upscale. Crown Grill. This is a speciality steakhouse on board. It's one of 3 restaurants with a cover charge. I think if you want to treat yourself and aren't on a Princess Premier, then this is worth the money. Just as a note, Princess Premier includes as many trips to the speciality restaurants as you would like. We had a meal here, it was amazing, our steaks were cooked perfectly to our liking, the staff were wonderful and attentive, and the whole experience really helped make our cruise. They have a wide variety of choice on the menu, however at the time we went there were no vegan or vegetarian specific options. I have read that you can ask a waiter for a vegetarian option and they will offer you something from one of the other speciality restaurants on board. I would have thought this would be Sabatini's, as they have vegetarian options as standard. But options might be quite limited, and for the cover charge of $55 per person, I would probably ask prior to booking to see what you would be offered and make sure you are happy with those choices and see if it's worth spending your money on. One thing we noticed is this restaurant books up super fast. We didn't book till we got on board and we ended up having to just book whatever they had rather than what we wanted. So book in advance, and don't forget you can pre-book your food as much as 3 months in advance once you have fully paid for your cruise. The Coral Dining Room is one of the 3 main dining rooms you'll find on board. It's got a pleasant decor and is similar to the other 2 dining rooms. This is subject to change on each cruise, but on our cruise the Coral was used for both traditional set dining and more flexible anytime dining. On deck 6 you will also find the Palm Dining Room. This is on the very back of the ship and is only accessible via the lifts and stairs at the very back. So if you're coming from anywhere forward of the aft, then you will have to go to deck 7, walk to the back of the ship and then head down. On our sailing, Palm was used for traditional style dining only. Also located here are guest services and the excursion desk. 2 important stops for sorting out any issues or booking tours. The staff are very helpful, though lines can get very long during peak times like embarkation day or just before port calls. Deck 7 is your deck for after dinner entertainment. At the front of the ship is the upper entrance to the theatre and allows access to the tiered upper seating. Next is the Grand Casino. It's got all your usuals, a good selection of slot machines, blackjack, roulette. It can be quite busy here in the evenings, and especially on sea days, you might have to stalk your favourite machine to get on it. Keep in mind that smoking is allowed in half the casino, so for some of you this might be a huge drawback. The smoking section and non-smoking section aren't segregated by anything physical, and although the aircon is pretty good, when there are a lot of people in here, it can be noticed on the non-smoking side. It didn't bother us though, and we did spend many a fun evening in here. You will find poker and slot tournaments on your cruise planner that are held here, which are fun and generally free to enter, and you might even win a prize if you're lucky. Just around the corner is Crooners Bar. It's a bar with a seating area and live piano performances during the afternoon and evening. It specialises in martinis and cocktails and is a nice spot for a pre-dinner drink. Then you come to the shops of Princess. This is both on deck 6 and 7 and found around the centre of the ship. You will find shops here such as jewellery, accessories, watches, perfumes and makeup. I'm not sure if these are supposed to be duty-free pricing, but I've always found them to be either on par or more expensive than at home. However, if you love to shop or you have some onboard credit waiting to be spent, you might want to check out the shops and enjoy wandering around the pretty decent choices they have to offer. Also, always look out for auctions or special deals on the ship's planner if you are looking for specific items, as you might get a discount if buying it at a certain event on board. Explorers Lounge is a large venue that shifts with the schedule. Daytime trivia, enrichment lectures, art auctions and game shows morph into live music and theme parties at night. It's a super versatile space with plenty of seating, and when it's not in use, we use this space to sit and play board games and card games, as the seating is very comfy and there's always plenty of space. Then there's Club Fusion, a bit of jack of all trades venue. It's home for karaoke nights, dance parties and interactive shows. It doesn't have the best sightlines to the stage due to the giant pillars and the rails on top of the seating, but it makes up for it with the energy. Again, this is another space you can come when it's not in use to read a book or play games. The only downside is that this room is a lot darker than the Explorers Lounge, which is why we prefer chilling in there. Sabatini's, the ship's Italian restaurant. This is another cover charge restaurant of $55, unless of course you're on the premium package. Eating here is a multi-course experience, and the way it works is you choose a soup or salad. You then get to share a table arancini, one antipasti, one first course, one second course, and if you can survive all that, pudding. The food was amazing and we thoroughly enjoyed it, but be aware the portions are quite large. You would think with so many courses that they would be small, but they aren't. I think the key to eating here is if you don't have an enormous appetite, don't feel bad about leaving a bit of each course if you know you can't fit it all in and want to get to pudding. It always has a nice atmosphere in here with a good selection of wines and cocktails in a price point for both Princess Premier and Plus. On Caribbean Princess, you also get to see the chefs cooking in the kitchen. We found on both Caribbean and more recently Sky and Majestic that this restaurant is generally less booked up than the steakhouse. So if you wanted to do a spur of the moment speciality restaurant, then this is probably the best bet. But if you know you 100% want to eat here, then please book in advance to avoid disappointment. Lastly, the Wheelhouse Bar. Very much a hidden gem, it's got a pub-like vibe, lots of dark wood and leather, and often features solo guitarists or duos in the evening. It's a nice place to just chill and relax in a comfy setting, listening to some live music. Decks 8 to 14 are mainly passenger cabins, so let's explore deck 15, the Lido deck. Starting right at the front of the ship, you'll find the staterooms. These are regular passenger cabins, so unless you're staying up here, you probably won't come this far forward. But if you are booked in one of these cabins, it's a handy location, and if you are interested, check out the links in the description below if you want to see what staying in a Lido deck cabin is like. Just past the forward lifts, you'll come to your first major food spots, Slice and the Salty Dog Grill. Slice is your pizza station, think pepperoni, margherita, and usually a daily special like veggie or barbecue chicken. It's quick, fresh and free for everyone, no need for an upgraded package. Please note though, you can't order a specific pizza from here, it's purely whatever they have prepped for the day. The Salty Dog Grill serves burgers, hot dogs, street tacos and their famous chili cheese fries. They do some vegetarian options here, but for anyone that's vegan, there sadly isn't anything suitable. Food is generally cooked to order, so there is a bit of a wait, but we haven't found it to be more than 10 to 15 minutes. Both of these are open from 11 AM to 11 PM, and because they're just steps away from the pool, they're ideal for grabbing something casual mid-swim without having to get dressed. Between these two eateries, there is the Mix Bar, well stocked and great for grabbing soft drinks, water or even a cocktail. This bar does get quite busy at times, so you might need to perch on a stall and just enjoy the view. Moving backward, you come to the Neptune Reef and Pool, one of the two main pools on this deck. This is usually the liveliest area on board, especially on sea days. There's music, entertainment and sometimes games or trivia going on. It's flanked by two hot tubs which are very popular. Head back a little bit further to the Calypso Reef and Pool. It's still a main pool with a slightly more chilled out feel. There are 2 more hot tubs here, and it's where they host Movies Under the Stars in the evening. You'll find the Calypso Bar just behind it, usually open until around 8 or 9 PM depending on what's happening. This bar has always seemed much quieter than the Mix, but was closed frequently, especially on port days, making the opening hours a little more unpredictable. Tucked just off the starboard side in this area is Coffee and Cones. It's one of my favourite spots. They serve free for everyone soft serve ice cream all day. They also have paid options like specialty coffees, gelato and frappes here. They generally open from around 10 AM through the early evening. What's great here is that it's open air right on the deck, unlike the Royal class ships where the coffee place is right in the centre of the buffet and you always feel like you're in people's way. You can also get premium ice creams here if you're on a package. Heading further back, you enter the World Fresh Marketplace. This is the ship's main buffet. It's split into 2 long serving stations on either side with plenty of indoor seating and some handy exits that take you straight outside. I prefer the layout of the newest ship's buffets to this one, as it gets really busy at peak times and a bit congested at the serving stations. Coffee, teas and water and juice are here for anyone not on a package and are free. The buffet is open between 6 AM and 11 PM. Breakfast is swapped out for lunch around 10:30 AM and then dinner starts around 4:30 PM. However, there is always a hot and cold food option here, so don't be afraid to come between the traditional food times if you want to avoid the rush. And right behind the buffet we finish our tour at the Outriggers Bar, a little tucked away gem at the very back of the ship. This outdoor bar overlooks the ship's wake and has plenty of shaded seating. It's a great place for a drink in the evening or a quiet moment away from the pool crowds. It usually closes around 8 PM but may still be open later during events or sailaways. I'll also cover Deck 14's public space here, the much quieter Terrace pool. We frequented this spot a lot, whether it was just to grab a drink and sit and enjoy the amazing view, or we even used to get our lunch or dinner buffet food and sit at the back here and watch the waves go by. It's a quiet space with plenty of seating, one of the best views on the ship, and the pool was never overcrowded. Decks 16, 17 and 18 are all about health and relaxation. At the front of Deck 16 you will find the fitness centre, which is stocked with the usual aerobic exercise machines as well as weights equipment, and you'll find it surrounded by the Lotus Spa where you can get anything from hair treatments to massages. The lap pool, or also called the Lotus Spa pool, is found here. This pool is only for people aged 16 and up. It's a nice tucked away area with shaded padded seating, but it can get very busy on sea days as the seating is incredibly limited. Although it's by the spa, it is still free to use for everybody. Just above here on Deck 17 is the Sanctuary. The Sanctuary is not free. It's around $40 for a full day and has a bed type loungers with overhead shades. Back on Deck 16 you have the Tradewinds bar. It's a well stocked bar surrounded by plenty of seating and a nice little sun trap area overlooking the Lido deck. To the left of the bar as you're facing it is the smoking area, and sometimes you can smell the smoke when sitting around the same area, so if this bothers you, you might need to find somewhere else to sit. Most of Deck 16 is actually sun loungers during the day, but I will say there wasn't a day where we couldn't find a sun lounger. Up on Deck 16 though, there is no hiding from the sun, so be prepared and make sure you have plenty of sunscreen. I did mention this during Deck 15, but Movies Under the Stars, the screen is located on this deck. You can watch daily films here, anything from The Sound of Music to the latest releases. They do try and cater for everyone, and during the day it's generally something suitable for all ages. At night, the sun loungers are given super comfy covers and they provide freshly made popcorn to sit back and enjoy your movie with. Now sadly, I missed getting much footage of this. At the back of the ship on Deck 16 you can find the kids club area and outdoor play area for the younger guests. Kids clubs are available most days and they have groups for ages 3 to 17 and are completely free. Up on deck 17 you will find the Reef Bar, a splash pool with water cannons and fun things for the smaller kids, as well as a hot tub and pool for the parents. It's an area designed with families in mind. The last thing to mention is the Skywalkers nightclub. We only ventured up here once. You find it right at the rear of the ship at the very top. It has an escalator to take you up to the nightclub entrance, which I thought was pretty fun, and it's a vast space with plenty of seating, a dance floor and bar. I didn't try this, but if this is open during the day, it would be an amazing place to just sit and admire the view. So that wraps up our tour of Caribbean Princess. For her age, she's still a magnificent ship, with a cross between older traditional charm and modern day facilities. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and tell us in the comments what's your favourite part of the ship, or what would you be most excited to explore. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy travels.